out of the blue. Ep. 8, The Open Lantern. This is a story about Frances, a white dove who believes she must discover a grand mission worthy of the time she has been given. She learns that her life does not need to become important through achievement. While she is here, love itself can shine through her. One night, Frances had a strange dream. She stood beneath an enormous clock in a silent town square. The clock had no hands. Instead, names appeared across its face. One by one, they faded. A bell rang each time another disappeared. Frances watched birds, animals, and people quietly leave the square. Soon she was almost alone. "Why am I still here?" she called. No one answered. Then a final message appeared across the clock. "You are still choosing." Frances woke suddenly. Her heart was pounding. Morning sunlight streamed through the branches. For the rest of the day, the dream followed her. Why am I here? Surely there must be a reason, a mission, an assignment, something important enough to justify staying. She began searching. At a village library, she found books about purpose. At a monastery garden, she listened to talks about service. At a hilltop shrine, she watched people pray. Everywhere Frances went, her question became heavier. What am I supposed to accomplish? Eventually, she reached a little workshop where a woman named Celia made lanterns. Hundreds hung from the ceiling. Blue glass, amber glass, painted glass, clear glass. Some were elaborate, others were plain. Frances landed beside a lantern with no decoration at all. "That one looks unfinished," Celia smiled. "It's my favorite." "Why?" "Because it doesn't try to improve the light." Frances looked through the clear glass. A small flame glowed inside. "I'm trying to discover my mission," Frances explained. Celia continued polishing a lantern. "That sounds important. It feels important. Does it feel peaceful?" Frances hesitated. No. That bothered her. She had assumed a divine purpose should feel enormous, perhaps difficult, perhaps noble, definitely impressive enough to explain why she was still here. Celia lit another candle. "What if you weren't given a mission to prove that your life matters?" Frances stared at her. "Then why am I here?" Celia shrugged gently. "You're here. That's not an answer. It might be the beginning of one." Frances became quiet. Inside herself, she listened. At first, she heard the familiar questions. What should I do? Who should I help? What must I accomplish? How can I make my life meaningful? Then beneath them came something softer. You do not have to earn this moment. Frances became very still. Another thought followed. While you are here, let love be what moves through you. "That's it?" Frances whispered. No grand assignment appeared. No heavenly checklist unfolded. Celia carried several lanterns outside as evening approached. "Come with me." They walked through the village. At the first house, an elderly man sat alone on his porch. Frances landed beside him. He smiled. "Well, hello." They sat together for several quiet minutes. Nothing was accomplished. Yet the man's face softened. At the next corner, a child was crying because she had dropped a basket of oranges. Frances fluttered among the rolling fruit. The child laughed while gathering them. Farther down the road, two neighbors were arguing. Frances landed between them on a stone wall. Neither knew why, but both stopped speaking for a moment. One finally said, "Maybe we should start again." Frances watched them. No mission, no performance, just presence meeting presence. She began to understand. Her life could become a message without becoming a monument. The next morning, Frances returned to Celia's workshop. "Maybe being a conduit means I don't decide what the light must do." Celia nodded. "A lantern doesn't chase darkness around the room. It just stays open and lets the light extend." Frances looked at the clear lantern again. The glass did not create the flame. It did not own it. It did not announce, "Look what I am doing." It simply allowed light to pass through. Frances laughed. "I've been trying to become spiritually impressive." "That sounds tiring." It was. She flew through the open window. From then on, Frances stopped measuring her life by how much she accomplished. She still helped. She still acted. She still followed guidance. But she no longer asked each moment to prove that her existence had a special purpose. She remembered heaven while walking through the world. She looked for truth in whoever appeared. A tired shopkeeper, a laughing child, a difficult stranger, a lonely neighbor. Each meeting became enough. Each moment could carry light. That evening, Frances flew above the village. Lanterns glowed in windows below, some blue, some gold, some plain, different forms, one light. Frances remembered the dream of the disappearing names. Perhaps everyone eventually left the square. Perhaps bodies came and went. But love was not counting years. And while she remained, there was nothing she had to become before she could give it. Her life itself could be the message. Her willingness the opening. Her presence the lantern. Out of the blue, may we sing, rest, and dance our way home together.